So when you tell me all you see your husband doing is going to work, that's the pattern of training he had. He's not trying to be unloving towards you. He doesn't even know this mythical man you have in your head that you're trying to make him be. He doesn't even know. He wasn't raised by that man. And you taking all this stuff personal.
My mom and dad just married her mom and dad. We gotta figure this thing out.
Yes.
Because we're on autopilot, auto programming from what we've seen.
So when you got with me, I was slothful to you. You think that being a stay-at-home mom and being a wife was not enough.
I was wrong. This is an Iwegbu production.
Period.
Recently, I was going through these IG streets, and I'm always looking for some good wife and, some good relationship and marriage, singles, all that type of content, y'all. And I ran into this clip. And if y'all ever find something, please send it my way as well. As you like, hey, man, y'all should talk about this.
Yes.
DM us with that information. But anyway, I ran into some of our brothers and sisters in them in this relationship sphere when it comes to podcasting, which is hardly initiated. They had a lady on, I do not know who she is, I'm so sorry, but she said something on their podcast that I wanted to highlight and talk about here. I'm gonna bring it up right now.
We are dating people and we're not even caring about their family. And people are saying, I don't need to know the family. I ain't marrying the family. But you marrying a pattern. Do you even know where your spouse's family come from? Did you ask your husband, how did his daddy treat his mama? I ain't even thinking. No, your husband said that his daddy was never romantic to his mom. He can't remember a time he saw his daddy give his mother any flowers. He did not talk to her. He was not intimate with her, and he just went to work. So when you tell me all you see your husband doing is going to work, that's the pattern of training he had. He's not trying to be unloving towards you. He doesn't even know this mythical man you have in your head that you're trying to make him be. He doesn't even know. He wasn't raised by that man. And you taking all this stuff personal. And you saying this man is unloving. He don't even know what you're judging him by or measuring him by. Did you take a look? You better go to that family reunion.
So you better go to that family reunion.
Oh,
hey, listen,
okay.
Shout out Dirk. That's real. Yes. Hey, listen. I saw that and I was like, man, this hits in such a real way because we have experience with this. Mm-hmm. For those who don't know, being married almost 8 years, and in the beginning, there was some challenges, as many marriages. And the thing was whenever we had our issues, a lot of times I could be looking at her and be like, what the heck? What is her issue? And she looking at me like, what is your issue? And we would almost start to make judgments on each other's character.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, our words were not that good back then. Okay. So it was some fiery darts sent at each other. But instead, one of the things that I had to realize is it's not the person, it's the pattern. It was, when I started to, this is something I didn't really take a big inventory of. Now, I told many of you guys before you get married, see about it. They have a good father and mother, all that. I did that part. What I didn't check out as much was, hey, what does her mama do? What does her daddy do? I did not inspect that fruit. And so I'm here to tell you now, I ran into that and I would start to realize what the differences was. It was the environments that we grew up in.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up, my mother and father were not together, never was together my whole life. So I never seen a man and woman in the house together. I mean, my mom had different boyfriends throughout the years, and that was about it. And they weren't like father figures to me or anything. So I never really seen a man actually in the house doing the thing, so that was one thing for me. And I had this grind in me. So I thought that, hey, after you pump out these babies, we about to get the grind, we about to work, we about to get it. And you was like, hold on. No, that ain't about to happen. And I'm like, no, we got to get it because we got these bills. And I'm going crazy. I'm like, hey, man, what's wrong with you? Well, not realizing that you came from a household, and I'll let you kind of explain more where your dad was a worker.
Mm-hmm.
He worked like a mug, like straight up. Shout out to Mr. Lee. Shout out to him. He was working. And then your mom took care of the house for the most part when they were together, because they had some different periods of time when they weren't. But, she took care of the household. So you automatically started to do what you have seen.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why I tell people a lot of times, man, be very mindful what it is that you're doing, even as a parent now, or just how you're doing, you're living your life right now, because your kids is taking it all in, whether you know it or not.
Yeah.
You want to sit there and you could preach to them about don't do this with boys, I will tell you this. Got two teenage daughters, great daughters, by the way. But there's certain things that I'm like, oh, they caught that.
Yeah.
I taught them something else, but they caught what I did, not what I said. And so coming back to you, babe, I saw this woman who was really good at taking care of houses.
Mm-hmm.
You was good at that. And you would do, the music. That was about it. But that was just something that you had on autopilot.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same thing where I tell somebody that comes from a line of entrepreneurs. Their dad was an entrepreneur, their mom was an entrepreneur. They don't know nothing else. It's automatic to them. So I automatically like, you don't come from the same struggle as me. You're not breaking a pattern. You're just doing the whole pattern over and over again. But again, I started to see the pattern and not to beat down on you. It's like, oh, wow. Okay. My mom and dad just married her mom and dad. We got to figure this thing out.
Yes.
Because we're on autopilot, auto programming from what we've seen. And it's not necessarily a beef between us. We're going against a generational pattern. And so I commend brothers who didn't have a father in the home, who never seen a man treat a woman right. And now you bringing home the flowers. Like, I think women, they could think that that's supposed to be on replay. I think even some of the times you did, and you can kind of speak to this as well, but you thought some certain things were going to come out of me, and I might do it sparingly, but that was a big effort for me. Like, I remember earlier in our relationship, before we even got married, I said, listen, you got mad about something. I can't remember what it was, but it took a lot out of me to show this romantic gesture that probably wasn't that big and romantic, but it was big to me because I'd never seen it. I was just trying to do something to make sure you was impressed. I just remember telling you that day, I said, if this wasn't that big to you, I don't know if anything will. And that was, I said, I don't know if anything
and y'all, it probably was flowers.
It probably was like flowers.
Like a rose.
Yeah, something like that. So again, I think that many couples, they beat up on the person. They make judgments up on that person and saying they're trying to do something. He or she may not be actually trying to do anything. We just do what we caught. That's why when people come from the projects, they come from the hood and they make it through. Why it's so big? It's not easy to get out of that. When you've seen generation after generation live on food stamps, live in poverty and all that, that's not easy. You had to fight your butt off to do something different. And I think even now, as I've been growing, I've had to fight something, and I've had to do something I have never seen. I've had to go into YouTube University. I had to jump into men's programs. I had to connect with other brothers who have been married for a long time to say, okay, what can I pull from you? And how can I use this? Because you did have your dad.
Yeah.
And you automatically did it. And I said, so what do I need to do? And so I would learn from them. And then I started to use that in my own marriage, and it's been blessed because of it. So,
yeah.
But what was your take on that, babe?
I definitely agree. Even when you were speaking, I just wrote down a quick note, which is to discuss what you desire. And I think that one of the things, especially for women, especially when you get to a certain age, you're like, I'm trying to get married. I'm getting older and I want to have children and I want to, start my life with a family and whatnot. I think because of the desire, sometimes you don't discuss what you desire. I mean, because of the desire of wanting to get married, you don't discuss what you actually truly desire. And I actually just saw a reel today from one of our mentors talking about like stop capping. You want romance. Don't cap about that. Like there is somebody that is romantic. There is somebody that is short. There is somebody that is skinny. There is somebody, and being real about the things that you want to see. I think that is the first thing. And so when me and Namdi got married, I was 21. Namdi was older, had 2 kids, been in long-term relationships. I was like, well, surely you know what you're doing. If you done did this quite a bit.
Marriage is a whole nother thing.
I said, sir, it's giving. We about the same age when it comes to this relationship stuff. Because why you don't know to give me romance? Like it was that type of thoughts. Like, why don't you know this? I was so confused. And again, patterns. You didn't see your daddy do. I mean, God bless him. We love him
Nice.
but we didn't see your daddy give flowers and hey, we going on a date night. Make sure we get dressed up and have the bottle of wine waiting. And you didn't see your mom get treated by a gentleman. And so your upbringing was, even from a woman perspective, your mama worked her butt off. So when you got with me, I was slothful to you. You think that being a stay-at-home mom and being a wife was not enough.
I was wrong.
When I'm telling y'all, after 2 days after that baby got out, Namdi was like, where are you gonna work at?
Hey.
Because he was literally used to a woman just powering through life. Having kids, on a cycle, but all kinds of stuff just work. And so again, you can judge that and be like, what is wrong with you? Something's off. This is strange. And it's like, no, that is your environment. And so I think it is absolutely dead spot on what she said. But I wanted to share just a few things of the reason why we say what we say, which is dating for data. Like when she said go to a family reunion, I started, as the years have gone on by, I used to always say, like, I think it doesn't take that long to really know when someone is for you. But it does take some time to see how people react and respond in certain seasons. And it takes even more time to be around people's family. And so I've, through the years, kind of changed and shifted my perspective on that. Like, no, I do think you should date for quite some time. And I think that you should keep it light, obviously keep boundaries up. But yes, see that person through all the seasons. Go ahead and talk to the mom and daddy. So how long, Mr. Johnson, how long you and Mrs. Johnson been married? Oh, okay. So when y'all was young, like, what was y'all date nights like? Just start asking questions like, okay, daddy don't do nothing for mama. He was cheating. He definitely never came home. You know what I'm saying? You can kind of start collecting that stuff like, okay, you saw your daddy cheat your whole life.
But then taking that data and then asking him certain questions about what he's been doing in dating so far. And then if you see that pattern, most of the time that pattern may not be ending with you. Not saying that a brother can really change, especially when you're
taking my point.
Oh, my bad.
No, it's okay.
No.
Literally,
okay.
My point. I'm saying, like, the Holy Spirit is in the room because I literally wrote down he's not an anomaly.
Yeah.
Who you're dating, he's not just all of a sudden going to be just different.
No.
You are probably a part of this pattern with him.
And until he has taken on the new identity of, like, I am going to do this Christ-like. And what I mean is, when the word says that you will leave your mother and father's house and you cleave together, like, what is cleaving as one, meaning I denounce that pattern. It stops with me, and I'm going to work my butt off not to be like that, because I know that this is not what God wants.
Yeah.
He wants me to sacrifice for my wife. So if I'm supposed to be a sacrifice, like Christ gave his life up for the church, then that means I am going to do something that may dang near hurt inside so daggone bad. It's going to burn me as I go do this daggone thing. But I'm going to do my best, even though I don't even know how do I do it. I'm going to use my resources, figure out how can I plan this date night. I'm going to use my resources. I'm going to make sure that, okay, I'm in the daggone Publix. I'm going to pick up the flowers, even though she going to let them die. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going to do these things.
Just be dying anyways. But I want to also say that sounds really great. And it is absolutely something that is possible, because Namdi's a living testimony of that. But I also want to say to every woman, that takes time. Like, it takes time for a man or woman to flip a pattern. Like, it takes years. It's still some things that we're both growing through individually, and we don't show up perfectly in any of those areas. And so you have to be real. Like, yes, he can say, I'm romantic, I'm this, I'm that, I don't cheat, I don't this, I don't that. But you might be living with him as he is stretching and growing. And so, I thought that this was such a perfect way to basically say, like, no, check the person out. And I think this is so good that culture is having these conversations, because a lot of marriages are ending up in divorce when people just did not do their research. They hopped in the bed, they had euphoric fog, they hopped in the honeymoon stage before they even got married. And then they get married and they're like, oh, You like ice cream? And it's like, why don't you know that? Because y'all was bumping and grinding. Y'all didn't talk. Y'all just had a lot of sex. And y'all, kicked it and was drinking and just vibing and just chilling. And then you got married. And the enemy was like, well, here y'all go. So I think it's so if y'all don't hear anything else from us, like, yes, date well. Date with your eyes wide open, your spirit on high alert, as the word says, to be sober and alert. To be sober and alert is without the fog of sin, without the decaying of sin. The wages of sin is death. So when you are in sin, your discernment is dying. When you are in sin, your awareness is dying. When you are in sin, your ability to be alert is dying. So this is the wages of that. This is why we say, hey, don't do it, because you will not be as clear as you think you are. You think, oh girl, I know I'll leave him. Y'all don't know what that spiritual world, them demons tying y'all souls together and putting a knot in it. And then if you do leave, now you got a whole new thing. You're carrying it to something new. So date for data. So I think that was a good clip. And I definitely, I pray that every single person under the sound of our voice really begin to take dating what it was supposed to be. That wasn't just for falling in love and hurry up and getting married. That's to collect your research.
Yeah, they love them weddings, boy. Woo! I be looking at women love them weddings, but it be like, hey, it's more than that. Y'all actually gonna be together. I was telling some young man that I was mentoring. I was like, man, after you get it on at the honeymoon, real life about to happen. Y'all gonna spend more time outside the bed and in the bed. So just so you know, you want to look at other things other than the intimacy. You don't even need to be there anyway. But for the married couples, just make sure that you are giving you already there, right? So you can't leave. All right, especially if you're a believer. We're not doing that now. If you in the entertainment tonight, marriage type of situation, y'all do what y'all do. But with us, that's within the kingdom, we can't leave. So just making sure that okay, that's from his daddy, that's from his mama, that's from her daddy, that's from her mama. And as long as they are aware, it's all right, let's work on that. Let's have grace. Let's love on each other. And again, what you're saying for the singles, just make sure you're inspecting that fruit. This is an Iwegbu production.
Period.
Hey, thank you for making it to the end of this video. If you could do us a huge favor, please hit that like button and please subscribe.
Yes, and please do not forget to hit that notification bell. We need y'all to be locked in every single time we drop this fire content. Also, we need y'all to follow us on all social media platforms at the Iwegbus. And look, we will see y'all on the next video.